Hello everybody, this is Solar Tiger with another aquarium update video. So this is my 20-gallon aquarium. As you can see, there's plants in the aquarium. There are no fish in the aquarium yet. I'm just doing some maintenance. As you can see, there's my DIY canopy. It's the wooden frame that's been painted black. And the inside is painted black at the moment. I did plan on painting it white, but the weather wasn't very kind when I was painting. It was very dull and damp, and the paint was taking ages to dry. So I just stuck one coat of black on the inside to waterproof it a bit. As you can see, there's lots of condensation on the inside. That's why it needed to be painted, to waterproof the wood and to stop it rotting. But maybe in this next year, when it's sunny, I might paint the inside white, but when the weather's better. As you can see, at the moment I have some boards on the top of the tank. So you can see I have the rear section. This is not screwed, it's just sitting on the tank. And you can see that my light tubes are screwed to the rear section. There's one here at the front and one at the back. I've taken out the condensation tray so I can get easy access to the water. So that's why there's lots of condensation on the inside. Strangely, there's no condensation on the section where the light tubes are. There's none underneath there. There's a front section here that goes on the top of here. I want to have it hinged to this section, but I don't have any hinges yet, so I just lift it off when I want. The front section does get quite a bit of condensation underneath it, so I have to tip away, let it drip away before I take the board away. Just let it drip into the tank. Also, you can see that there's condensation on the end, and that does have a tendency sometimes to drip through. It drips through the gap, and it will come out on the outside of the glass. If I show you here, you can't see it now, it's dried up. You can see through there how the light tubes are attached to the rear section. Those light tubes are quite bright. They are 24 watt T5 tubes. There's two up there. So, a few changes. I was going to buy a alcohol type thermometer, but instead I bought an electronic one. It says a solar powered thermometer. The lead just goes around the back to the front and into the tank. I just put some aquarium plant weight around the cable just to hold it down. I've also put in an air stone, as I was having a oily film on the top of the water, and I read online that the easiest way to get rid of that was to put an air stone in the aquarium, and lo and behold, within about 10 minutes the film had disappeared. So that's how that works. At the moment I have the air pump turned off, the heater turned off, and the filter turned off, as I was sticking my hand inside the tank. Although I have the lights plugged into a separate power source so I can see what I'm doing. For those of you interested, the lights are plugged in to my 12 volt power inverter that runs off my 12 volt batteries. So the inverter is running the light. I take you over to the battery meter. You can see that we're drawing 5 amps of current from the batteries to run the aquarium lights. The lights the light ballast is rated at 52 watts, so that's that. It's just a side note for you, those people that follow my solar power videos. Anyway, back to the aquarium. So you can see I'm holding the camera over the tank and trying not to drop it in. The reflection you can see is of the light tubes, and that's an overview of that. My red plants are turning less green because the light is stronger. The Eladia densa is growing a lot, and I cut some off of it. And you can see that my Vallis is growing. It's growing over the top of the water now. Although the leaves have a strange reddish tinge, I'm not so sure about that. And I bought some test strips as I am trying to cycle my tank. I bought these test strips. So this tank's been set up for about 2 weeks now, and I'm trying to cycle the tank. There's no fish in the tank at the moment. So what I've been doing is I have been putting in some fish flakes every day to decompose and produce ammonia to feed the bacteria in the filter. Well, that's the theory that I've read online, the so-called fishless cycle. The only thing I've found is I've been putting in flakes now for 2 or 3 days now, and I've been testing with the test strips, but the ammonia I can barely detect any. I can't tell between 0 and 0.5 using the test strips, so I'm not sure if the fish flake method works. The other thing that I've discovered, if I take you down here, right, I'm happier with the camera. Right, I've been putting the fish flakes in and they float around the tank. The only thing is they gum up my plants with mouldy bits on. Try and zoom the camera. You can see that the mouldy bits in my kabomba, that's mouldy fish food. So I also think that's what was causing the film on my water, because there's oily oils in the fish food. So I'm not so sure about using fish flakes to cycle your tank, because it doesn't seem to be working in my case. I think I've been changing the water as well. Every other day I've been changing a bucket or two, and that's what I've been doing. So the only thing I've noticed is that I've been cleaning the tank a bit now, so it's hard to see, but if you look carefully, let me zoom in again. You might be able to see, trying to see now where there's some algae, but I've been trying to pull out hair algae from the tank. Here's a good example. That's growing on the Java fern. The Java fern has always grown hair algae for some reason, but I had it all over the back wall of the tank. Just zoom out a bit. And I've been having to scrape it off the back wall. It was grown about 1.5 inches long, so I've been scraping it off the back and off the heater. I had the lights on a timer. They were on for 10 hours, between the hours of 12 noon till 10 at night. I cut the lighting back now to 8 hours, from 2 PM to 10 PM. I work during the day, so I have the lights on more for the evening. So that's how that works. I just use a cheap mechanical timer switch, and that works fine. My tank is well planted with a mixture of things. We have some kabomba at the back there. We got some high growth, some red kabomba, and some pennywort, some Ludwigia, and some Vallis at the back there. And I have some other plants, can't remember the name of that one. There's some more kabomba here. The Eladia densa, but I'll come back to that. And some other red plant that I can't remember the name of. And Java fern. The Java fern always had things growing on it. It's a very slow growing plant, although it's growing little plantlets, as you can see at the back there. So anyway, I doubled the lighting on the tank from T8 25 watt tube to two 24 watt T5s. The red plant is gradually going red again. It had a spell where the leaves were going green. The Eladia densa, or Anacharis, it grew like mad, and I cut some bits off of it. If I hold the camera steady against the tank, you can see bubbles coming up. Now with the filter turned off and the airstone turned off, that's actually the plant photosynthesizing underneath the lights that I've got now. So that's going. It's grown right up. I've cut some pieces off of this, as it seems to be the fastest growing thing that I have. But I'm trying to reduce the amount of algae growing. So, and that's that. The heater is set to 26 degrees Celsius, and the thermometer is showing 24.6 now. I've had the heater turned off a while now, but it tends to hold constant around 26 Celsius. This thermometer was bought from eBay for about £8. It is solar powered. One thing I know is that at the moment the air pump is turned off. When I turn it on, it is fairly noisy. It's a fairly chunky thing. It's a Rena Super. I think it's fairly old model, but it's quite powerful. If it's on a bit on the noisy side. So I took this plant out of the other tank. It seemed to be growing well. I stripped off all the leaves that were falling apart, and we'll see how that goes. So I have a fairly well planted tank. I was using some fertilizer, but I'm easing off on that because I've read on some forums that too much iron can make the algae grow. I think that on the weekend I might buy 2 zebra danios to cycle this tank. It's been going 2 weeks now, so, and I will get the danios. Let's get 2 danios to start with. This is a 20-gallon tank, and I will change some water every day and test for the ammonia and nitrates, etc. So this is Solar Tiger with another update video. I do have some snails in this tank. Let me just zoom in. Let me just zoom the camera. That's the red plant, but we're more interested in this snail. These ones came from the pet store. These came from the pet store in my Java phone. So I've got 2 or 3 in this tank, but in the other tank I have loads, and that was the only plant that came from the fish store, my local Pets at Home. So the Kabomba is growing a bit thin in the corner here, away from the light, so I nipped a section off and stuck it in the centre, so it's under the light, and we'll see how that goes. There is a little bit of new growth appearing on the red Kabomba, just so there's a little bit. I'll just hold it against the glass a minute. There we go. There's a shoot coming out of the red Kabomba. So we'll see how that goes. So this is Solar Tiger with another update video. So on Sunday I might buy 2 zebra dunios to help cycle the tank, and I will be testing the water and doing water changes every day so the fish won't become too stressed. And also, once the tank has cycled, I'm going to buy some Otto Sinkless catfish to help keep the algae under control, but they are sensitive to the water quality, so I won't be getting those until my tank is well cycled. So this is Solar Tiger saying thank you for watching my aquarium videos, and until next time, goodbye. Thank you.